What is going on, people? We are Tottenham TV back with a big live stream, a massive one. It's the final weekend of the season. It's do or die.
Scrap that. This is what are you doing? This is my job to intro the show first and foremost. Second of all,
you weren't here.
Second of all, forget all what's going on this weekend. It's this guy's birthday today. Everyone give him a happy birthday in the live chat. 22nd of May. Last year on his birthday, we were celebrating a win in Bilbao.
What?
This weekend, we're going to be celebrating, hopefully, survival, man.
I'm breathing a huge sigh of relief for my birthday. That's what the doctor ordered. That's what I want for my birthday. Just no drama. Just no bad energy, just survival, and I want Premier League status secured. That's all I want. Good things have happened on my birthday. Celebrating Bilbao, we secured top 4 with Sonny getting the golden boot on my birthday a few years ago. So let's hope this birthday weekend will be another memorable one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It can't be
But
any polar opposites, can it be? From winning a trophy, a European trophy in Bilbao, to a relegation threatened last day of the season. Mad.
This is our reality. This is our reality. This is where we are. And every week, I can't believe we have to talk about it. And we're still not safe going to the final day. We're the big story going into this final game of the season. All eyes are going to be on Tottenham. The pressure's going to be ramped up. So let's hope we rise to it.
Exactly. I heard some people saying, all I want is for Spurs to be playing for something last day of the season. Well, don't think we envisage this one. Don't think we envisage this. But we've got...
Thank you for all the messages, by the way. I'm reading the chat. Big up to everyone in the live chat. We have a lot going on today, though. A lot to talk about. I've turned up. There are some other people who haven't turned up for the last game of the season, which we'll get into.
But look, let's get into it because we've got an action-packed live stream to bring you guys today. Yeah, sorry we're late. Simmel's just finishing his cake. That's
the rustle the room is.
Yeah. Let's start off with a Tottenham update. And the first thing we're going to get into is the team news going into the game this weekend. And the big news is obviously Dominic Solanke. Roberto De Zerbi has confirmed Dominic Solanke is fit to play against Everton. It's just a matter of when, if he starts or not. Do you think he starts?
I would be shocked if he started, considering he wasn't fit enough to even be on the bench on Monday night. To go from that, usually you see a bit of a progression, don't you? You see a few minutes, then you're ready to start. So I would be very shocked if Solanke starts. But as we said, as we've been saying for weeks and weeks, we're running that front three into the ground, and especially Richarlison, who's had his injury problems, who's someone, he looks dead off the 60th minute. That's been the case for the past few weeks. So Solanke being fit will definitely help, and hopefully he can come on whether we need a goal or whether we need to shut off the game. I think he'll be a massive help, and hopefully it means that front three won't lose as much energy as they have been doing over the past few weeks. But I don't think he'll start. I would be really, really shocked. I think he's just trying to leave it a bit ambiguous to keep Everton guessing a bit.
Yeah, I mean, if he starts or not, it's still something big for us because we've got options off the bench, or more options off the bench. So whether he starts or not isn't the biggest deal for me, but at least we've got someone to call on in the latter stages of the game.
Yeah, that's just what we haven't had. And we De Zerbi's been saying we're just lacking rotation options. We just have to deal with what we've got. And I know it's the last day, and it's not exactly like it's not like groundbreaking, but every little helps right now. We need all hands on deck.
All the help we can get. Exactly. Yeah. Regarding James Maddison, he said that James Maddison is available. It's always tough to decide before the game how many minutes he can play. Of course, he's a different player, a top player for us, but we have to analyse and the physical condition in this Italian weather. It is bloody boiling today, by the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so how many minutes do you reckon James gets in this game?
Well, he got how many against Chelsea? 20? 15, 20. So he came on 85th against Leeds. I think it was 75th in the end, wasn't it? Against Chelsea. So I'm expecting 65th.
Any chance he can spring a surprise and start him?
Judging by what he said before, no. Although he was asked about in the press conference, which we'll get into, about the options he's got on the forward line. If one is not going to play, and he did mention, Maddison maybe off the left and Tell off the right. So maybe he's kind of thinking about it. But he said it plain as day against Chelsea. The doctors told me he can't start. He's saying he can't start. Maddison was saying, look, it's frustrating for me, but I've got to do what's right for my body and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think he's ready to start and play 90 minutes. And I would rather, I don't know, would you rather him play with the risk of having to be taken off, or would you rather him be on the bench and if we need him, we bring him on? I think that's just probably the best solution, because I'd rather end the game with him.
It'd be great if we can get him on like at half time for
Yeah.
the second half. That would be great. Look, I don't want to risk further injury to Maddison. So, but it is like literally the biggest game in our history. So, yeah, it's an interesting one and it's a difficult one to weigh up. I would say start him on the bench and bring him on at half time or with half an hour to go, something like that. On Vicario, he was asked the question, has Vicario trained enough? Is he up to speed? Is he going to come in instead of Kinski? And he gave nothing away. De Zerbi was
Quite
just
literally.
like, yeah, he's like, you're asking me too much.
Yeah. I don't know what that implies, though. Obviously, he gave a bit more of a detailed answer last week, which gave the impression that Kinski was going to start, and obviously Kinski did start. But obviously, Vicario's had a full week of training now, so you would think he's maybe more in a position to play. And now he's saying, oh, you ask too much. Is that an implication that maybe he's going to surprise people and start Vicario? Kinski obviously didn't cover himself in that much glory against Chelsea, but I wouldn't say he's massively at fault for anything. For me, you just don't rock the boat right now. I know he didn't... I know it's hard to say bring Vicario in would rock the boat, but Kinski's done well. I think our defence has looked a lot better. And even against Chelsea, it wasn't like we conceded loads of chances. I know he might have felt like against... Enzo's shot, could he have done a bit better? Maybe you could say, was his positioning correct? He wasn't able to get over to that shot. Wasn't the best attempt, but then again, it was a great strike.
If you're criticising him for that goal, it's very harsh.
It is harsh. It's not a mistake, but does Vicario save it? Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? It's tough to say. But I don't think I think we've got a settled back line at the moment. Try and keep it the same till the end of the season.
Agreed. So that's the team news. So one player is back, and that is Dominic Solanke with, I think it will be Vicario on the bench. There has been some news with Sky Sports yesterday. They claim that Sebastian Kehl is expected now to join Tottenham Hotspur as new sporting director if Premier League safety is confirmed. I mean, if you're coming in to be as a sporting director role, surely you come in regardless, you know what I mean? Like,
if you believe in the project, if you believe in the club, I like to think regardless whether in the Championship or not, why should that make a difference? You're here to build the club and move us forward with smart decision making in the transfer window. Understand if we're in the Championship, it makes your job harder, and it means that we're probably shopping in a different kind of pool of players than we would be if we stayed up. But still, you're coming to oversee the whole footballing operations of a football club. You're not here as a short-term kind of thing to get us, if you sign a player to play over a certain amount of time, you're signing them to achieve certain goals in the short term for a lot of them. Obviously, we have signed young players, but a sporting director, you're coming to imprint a project on the club on footballing kind of perspective, and I don't see why that should make a major difference whether we stay up or not. Your job remit, so that does surprise me. said why as well, who's that ITK on X said he isn't our first choice. That does worry me as well, that we've gone for other targets and we've ended up with him.
Freeman was the first choice.
So we'll see. He hasn't also done apparently his job at Dortmund has been heavily scrutinised, so whether that's something you look at and think, it's something to get excited about, but, it's hard to really judge it until we see him working in action for Tottenham, isn't it? So I don't want to sit here and say this guy's a bum and he's rubbish. I don't really know that for a fact, but judging by the evidence leading to this appointment, doesn't seem like one that we're particularly excited about as a club, and doesn't get me too excited.
Yeah, the only way I get behind this if it is Roberto De Zerbi that wants to work with him. If Roberto wants to work with him, then I'm all for it. But, it remains to be seen, doesn't it? We don't know.
When he's got Johan Lang in meetings, I think anyone probably seems like a great appointment.
But he's going to have both.
Yeah, true. We'll see how that works out.
Djed Spence. Let's talk about Djed Spence now, because it's a great day for Djed, as he's been called up to the England squad for the World Cup. I was very surprised when I saw this, Djed being called up. He hasn't played much football, has he, since Roberto De Zerbi has come in. He's coming in to fill in at left back, or to be the backup left back for Nico O'Reilly. Thomas Tuchel was really talking him up in the press conference, saying he's special, he's unique, he's the fastest player in the squad. I mean, I thought they were going to go for Lewis Hall, man. I think Lewis Hall has been brilliant this season, and he's played consistently for the first team throughout. So are you surprised that they called up Djed?
I am, to be honest, especially given the news that we heard he's got a fractured jaw.
Yeah, David Ornstein did confirm that, broken jaw, but he is expected to be in the squad this weekend. Correct.
So he is available, but, given that a player suffering that kind of injury does, let's say he has to go in, I don't know how long it's going to affect him. Obviously, I'm trying to think back to Mawani, who had kind of a low-grade fracture on his jaw when against Man United. He was actually back and playing available. I'm trying to remember how long he wore that mask for. It must have been a few weeks. But
he can play, so it's
he
not
played. No,
detriment.
the thing is, you can play, but the problem I have is you're playing with a fractured jaw. Now, let's say there's a 50-50, a ball is about head height, and you've got to put your head in where it hurts. Do you think twice if you've got a fractured jaw or not? I'm not saying that he can't pass the ball as well as he can, or he can't dribble as well as he can, or he can't even defend as well as he can. But I'm talking about those little moments in games where, a 50-50 at the back post and you've got to fight tooth and nail to win that header. Last minute of the game, you've got someone, battling for you in the air. I'm not saying he'll do it on purpose, but unconsciously, if you've got a fractured jaw and you're playing with that and you risk further injuring it if you have a clash of heads or something, right? Does that make you think twice, right, in those situations? I'm not saying for sure it will, but it could. And that's the worry I would have if I was
not in a World Cup.
Tuchel. Any situation, you're playing with a fractured jaw. I think if it's over a 38-game period, right, and it will heal, and obviously if you're calling up someone for a season, it's a bit different, but for a short space of time, and if he's playing with it, that's got to be a bit of a concern. Also, has he deserved it? Has he deserved it for this season? I don't think he's had a particularly great season, so I think he is fairly fortunate to be playing with this, so to be called up given his form. I don't think he's been in the best of form for Tottenham.
He's not played.
I know, but when he has played, I don't think he's been particularly impressive. Like last season, I thought he was much better than this season. Obviously,
when he's played under Zerbi, he's played in the forward line. He hasn't even played at left back too much.
Well, he started at left back. Was it Wolves? He started that one game. He was all right. I guess under De Zerbi, it's a bit different. But I'm saying over the general season, it's not exactly been great when he's played. But Tuchel said he's obviously taken his England form into account, and he has been good for England. You got to say, when he's played for England, he's been impressive. And Tuchel, I heard his long response to what he was saying about Spence, about he's the fastest player in the squad. He's versatile. He also adds something in the squad that we don't have, which is defenders who love to defend, who are very good at one-on-one defending and are very hard to beat. And that's all true about Djed Spence. So I'm guessing maybe he's thinking, look, if I'm if I'm in the knockout round or even a group game and I'm looking to see out a game, and Djed Spence is a brilliant defender to bring on and just help us see out games and make sure that wingers aren't getting past their man and we can get over the line in certain situations. So I get that, and that's fine, and that's fair. But if I'm Lewis Hall, he's had a much better season than him, and he would obviously be a natural replacement for a backup left back. Lewis Skelly is also quite versatile. I know he hasn't had a great season either, but he's quite versatile. He can play different scenarios. So if I'm those players, I might be a bit disappointed. But also,
Lewis Hall should be the most disappointed in my opinion.
Yeah. Also, those players though don't give Tuchel what he is saying Djed Spence gives them. So, look, congratulations to him. I'm delighted for him. Cast your mind back to 18 months ago. If I would have told you Djed Spence would be going to the World Cup for England, you'd be like, what are you on about? No chance.
If you would have said that to me a week ago, I would have said, what are you on about?
Yeah,
but yeah, especially 18 months ago.
Yeah. Ornstein even said a few days ago that Spence wouldn't be making it. So it has caused a bit of surprise. But he hasn't let Tuchel down, and we've seen that with other managers and other international roles, that sometimes they just have these trusted players. And he said, look, against Uruguay, he actually said he had a chat with Spence. He said, you haven't been playing great for Spurs. You're not playing that much for Spurs. You have to kind of prove yourself for this international break that I can trust you. And you're going to have to unfortunately, even though you've never let me down, you're going to have to reprove yourself. And he said he had a brilliant performance against Uruguay. And he proved to me that I can just call upon him and he could be a trusted player. So it's earned him a spot.
Yeah, it's mad. He said he made his decision then after that game.
Yeah.
I do feel for Lewis Hall, but look, all I care about is the Spurs players, to be honest, and I'm delighted that Djed Spence is going. We've got someone that we can get behind in the World Cup. Too many Gooners in that squad, to be honest.
Exactly.
So I'm loving that Djed Spence is part of the squad and someone to keep a close eye on during the England World Cup games. It was a weird squad from Thomas Tuchel, though. Like, the amount of talent that's been left out of, like, Cole Palmer, Phil Foden, Morgan Gibbs-White. I think, like, John Stones is very lucky to go.
Yeah, Maguire maybe a bit unlucky.
Yeah, I think Stones is very lucky to go ahead of Maguire. I think it's strange. Even Ivan Toney has not been called up once by Thomas Tuchel, and suddenly he's in the World Cup squad. I just don't understand some of the decisions. Jordan Henderson going as well. I mean,
what I would say is he's doing something that Southgate didn't, which is Southgate shoehorned all these players in where maybe there wasn't natural spots for them. So he had Bellingham, who he knows he was going to be his number one, and then he shoehorned in Palmer, Foden. I mean, obviously Eze has been called up with this one, but I'm saying he's shoehorned in lots of different number 10s into the squad. And then once the lineup comes in, he's like, well, I can't leave out Foden. I can't leave out this one. And even though maybe it doesn't not a natural fit for the 11, he's trying to shoehorn in so many good players because they're so great. What Tuchel is just being, he's stripped all that away and just said, look, who are the best players in each position? And the top 2 players in each position who are natural fits for those positions, I'm going to take. So even if that means that Foden's missing out for Madueke because Madueke is more of a natural winger, that's what he's done. And he's looked at the left wing position and he said, I'm going to take Gordon and I'm going to take Rashford because those are the 2 natural left wingers I'm going to bring. And I'm going to take Madueke and Saka because those are natural wingers. I'm not going to take Foden because I'm taking Eze and I'm taking Bellingham and I'm taking Rodgers. And those are my informed number 10s. And Foden just hasn't been in as good form. Palmer is struggling with an injury. He's not in as good form.
Morgan Gibbs-White, mate. Morgan Gibbs-White is up for Player of the Year. You know,
he is, but
how has he missed out?
Because
isn't he more on form than any of those 10s?
But who's a better player, Rodgers or him?
You just said he's picking his most informed players. Like,
in the natural positions, I'm talking about. Obviously, it's a mix of quality as well.
Do you not think Morgan Gibbs-White deserves to go over Eze?
I would say so. To be fair, I would say he deserves to go over Eze. But Eze's been in other squads, so he's made. I agree with that.
So is Gibbs-White.
Yeah. But who's a better number 10, Eze or Gibbs-White?
I think currently, right now, I think there's not much in it in terms of quality of the player. In my opinion.
Remember, Gibbs-White is just he's on a hot form right now in these last few months, which obviously can't be discounted. But
he also had a fantastic season last year.
Yeah, but so did Eze.
Yeah.
Carrying Palace.
I think Eze's been decent this season, but I don't think he's been on the level of Morgan Gibbs-White.
But I'm saying he is taking players in their natural position. So he's not considering Palmer and Foden as wingers. So they're not getting in as part of those options. What he's saying is if you're going to get in, you're going to have to beat my number 10s. And I'm only taking 3 of them. And Bellingham's in there, who, to be fair, hasn't had a great season. He's been injured. So he's maybe a bit lucky. He's Rodgers. You know, he's been phenomenal. So he has to be there. And then he's taking Eze over Palmer, Gibbs-White and Foden. My point is, okay, Gibbs-White is lucky to miss out because of maybe he's in great form right now. But there's only one spot for those 4 players I'm talking about. And maybe because Eze's been part of a group which has won a trophy. And
he can also play on the wing as well.
And he can play on the wing. It's a bit more versatile. Maybe he's gone with that. But I think I agree. Obviously, it's not nice to see a squad without Foden and Palmer and Gibbs-White.
I don't have too many problems with Foden and Palmer because I think they've both had poor seasons. I don't think actually Foden and Palmer both deserve to get in off the seasons they've had.
Yeah.
I more feel for Morgan Gibbs-White, players like Adam Wharton. Would you have taken Adam Wharton over Jordan Henderson? I mean,
100%.
I would have done that.
I would have done that. Yeah. But again, he wanted that bit of know-how and experience. I guess Henderson brings that. If Henderson isn't in there, are we lacking that a bit in the England squad maybe? You're thinking because all of Maguire's already been left out. So you just need someone in the dressing room who knows how it is to be a leader. And maybe we're lacking those leaders without him.
What do you feel about Ivan Toney going? Like, is there another striker you would have preferred ahead of him? Would you have taken like a Dominic Calvert-Lewin or... I mean, Solanke, you can't take Solanke, I guess, but who else is there? What other strikers is there?
I think it's the right thing. I'll tell you why. Because Calvert-Lewin obviously has done great for Leeds, but I just don't think he's that great, if I'm being perfectly honest. Welbeck's had a great season, But again, when I look at Tony, he is someone who you can bring on late in games, who's an big aerial threat. And one key thing is, if we do go to a penalty shootout, he's brilliant at penalties. He's calm at penalties. Who would you trust in a penalty shootout? Welbeck, Calvert-Lewin, or Tony?
Tony, 100%.
And so you've already got Kane and Watkins, who are probably going to fill the playing time up front anyway. If you've got a third man there, you might as well take someone like Tony, who you can trust in that position.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Also, when you're talking about aerial ability, Dominic Calvert-Lewin does bring that. But Tony does have ice running through his veins, doesn't he, in those kind of situations. So, yeah, look, I kind of agree with you there. I mean, Dan Burn was taken as well. I mean, I think that's crazy. I do think there are some strange decisions there, but I agree with what you're saying, that I like the fact that he's been able to leave out these kind of big names that are not on form, where Southgate wasn't able to do that.
Trent, another one who hasn't had a great season. He's been left out, which obviously he left him out in March. And I said it's because he's not going to take him, and he hasn't taken him, which I think is fair. I think Trent just hasn't been good for Real Madrid. And I would have backed someone like Tuchel to get the best out of him, but Reece James has been better than him this season. But, you know, when he's missing out to someone like Tino Livramento, if I'm Trent, I'm like, I've got much more ability than him. But the reality is he's been off form and he hasn't been trusted by Madrid. Yeah. So
he said players like Alex Scott were very unlucky to miss out. Obviously, he went for Madueke over Jared Bowen, which he spoke about a bit.
Yeah, and
I think that's fair. I think Jared Bowen's been horrific this season. So
yeah, it's not like Madueke. In terms of output, Madueke hasn't been great, but he's gone with him. One player I think maybe is lucky in a way to go is Kobe, because obviously he was missing for the first 6 months under Amorim.
He's played himself into the squad though. He's been brilliant.
He has been great. But when you've got the likes of Scott and Wharton, who have been great over the whole season, Kobe can count himself a bit lucky that he's got that experience in England. He's never let England down.
He's proved himself in competition last year. I think he was brilliant last tournament.
Exactly, he got played in the final, didn't he? So, and he was quite good. So, I think Tuchel's looking at thinking this guy's got the experience and the big stage. So
just shows you the quality of how many quality players England have. With the amount, look at the amount of stars we've left out. Like, I don't think any other country could probably say that, how many stars we've left out.
Yeah, a lot of players, and it's tougher than ever to be getting in this England squad.
At this point, Jarell Quansah has been called up
over Maguire.
I don't know how he's been playing in Leverkusen, but that was a shock to me. But look, that is the England squad and a few surprising selections. Let us know your thoughts on it in the comments section below.